Thank you, Chairman Bentz, and thank you for the opportunity to wave on to the committee today for holding this important hearing. Mr. Beshear, I just wanted to start out by saying thank you for traveling here from Missouri to offer your testimony on behalf of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, NCBA. I believe that your perspective as a cow-calf producer is vitally important to the discussion surrounding how best to tackle black vulture depredation. Mr. Beshear, in your written testimony, you highlighted that even in a year where markets in your industry are favorable to producers, that your margins are slim. Would you discuss just how devastating financially black vulture depredation can be to producers who operate on such slim margins?
Thank you, Congressman, for the question. Yes, we do have slim margins, sir, and right now, our average, we'll lose 3 to 4 calves a year. In today's markets, those animals are worth anywhere from $200 to $2,500 finished out. So that is a big financial loss, and you take with the average cow size 100 or less, that's a big hit to a farmer. And not only are you losing the financial there, but the genetics that you've just lost in that animal. Most producers are growing their herds, increasing their genetics, so all that's down the drain also.
Thank you. And Mr. Beshear, my bill, the Bipartisan Black Vulture Relief Act of 2023, has a once-a-year reporting requirement. Do you feel that a once-a-year reporting requirement is sufficient for monitoring population management while also balancing against overly burdensome reporting requirements for producers?
I do. And right now we have a federal permit, and we report our takes at the end of the year of every year. And that gives you a checks and balances of what's being out there, how many's being hatched out. We actually have a nest that was actually hatched out in one of our barns. We had to get USDA APHIS down there to relocate those. But yes, I think a 1-year checks and balance would be appropriate.
And I think you've just made reference to my next question, but take under the Migratory Bird Treaty Act doesn't necessarily mean killing the bird. It can mean disturbance of an animal or its habitat. Can you talk about the non-lethal tools that you currently use as part of your operation and their relative success?
We have used a lot of non-lethal tools, anywhere from pyrotechnics, which we cannot use right now because we're in a very serious drought. It's afraid of starting a wildfire. We've used propane cannons. They're effective for maybe a day or two. The only effective tool is use an effigy. It's to take an animal, hang it in a tree, fence row. That is the only effective tool that we have found that works. But the issue with that is that you're taking the buzzard population that's on your place and you're pushing it off on your neighbor. So the problem's not going away, you're just moving it to another area.
In your written testimony, you also refer to the connection between grazing and rotational patterns and forage use and these black vultures. If you could address what it means for your operation day to day.
We practice rotational grazing on our operation just for soil health and increasing forage mass. By pulling the cattle down tighter, we'll pull 200 cows down into a 50-acre paddock, condense them, where when we get an attack for some vultures, there's usually 40 or 50 in the group. Pulling the animals down tighter, that gives more defense to the little calves. We should not have to look over our animals that closely. It's very sad every day when you go out and check your cattle or feed your cattle that you have to carry a firearm with you.
And we discussed this earlier, but I'm also a cow-calf producer, and as speaking to that same issue of how you manage your pasture, your grazing rotation, we had such a significant presence of black vultures on one of my farms where we literally had to abandon use of that particular 300-acre tract because there were 300 plus black vultures there. Any cow that attempted to calve, or we had calving during calving season, was attacked. And literally to solve that problem, we would either have had to kill 300 black vultures or a significant number, or move them. So I appreciate, again, you being here today. want to just stress how important this issue is to cow-calf producers and livestock producers all across the country. Thank you. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr.